Hi everyone, Jules from Roast My Pricing Page here. Today I wanted to make a video about how to implement inside Framer a pricing page like this one. So why such a pricing page? It's because I've seen more and more customers recently implementing a usage-based pricing model, and more specifically a usage-based pricing model with credit allowance. So basically you pay for a pack of credits that you can consume during your billing period. And when you reach your limit, obviously, you need to upgrade to the plan above. And why Framer? Because it seems like it's becoming one of the most popular CMS out there, and notably very much used for early stage startups. And so I'm going to show you more specifically how you can implement such a plan with the ability to select inside a drop-down a given number of credits and display the corresponding pricing and the corresponding limits that you are entitled in the wake of the plan. So let's dive in. All right, so now let's dive in. So what I did is that I imported this plan and the drop down that is displayed here on Hover inside Framer. I'm not going to dive into the details of how I imported those components. I used Figma at first to clean up a bit the import of the components using an extension called HTML to design. And then once I have cleaned up the components inside Figma, I have imported those inside Framer using another extension called Figma to HTML. So now, as you can see here, I have the plan and the corresponding drop down inside Framer. And this is going to work into actually three main steps. The first step is to render the hover state on each of the credit item inside the dropdown. So this is exactly what I'm showing here. Then what we are going to implement is this current behavior. So when you hover on the dropdown select, then it collapses the entire dropdown, and then the last step, will be when you click on a specific credit item, then the corresponding plan, the plan is going to be updated with the corresponding amount and the corresponding limits that are shown here. That is the number of emails found and the number of verifications per month. So let's dive in now. We're going to start with the hover state. So the first step is actually to use components. So here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to convert this drop-down item into a component. I'm going to keep that name. The first thing that I'm going to do here is actually use variables for the content of these components. This is going to be much more handy when I will want to duplicate those components and fill in the corresponding number of credits. So what I'm going to do here is create a variable, and this one it's going to be the number of credits. By default, that's actually 2000 that I want. And I'm going to put it as a text area. I'm going to do actually the same thing for the corresponding amounts. So I'm going to create a variable, and this is going to be the amounts. And by default, I'm going to put by default the corresponding amount for 2000 credit, that is $43. Okay. So this is done, and now what I'm going to do is actually render the hover state. So Framer offers by default the ability to create the corresponding hover variants. So that's what I'm going to do here by clicking on hover here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually replicate the hover states that I have imported here via this background. So a good trick here is actually to copy the style directly instead of, you know, adding the background. It's much more easier to copy the style here because that's the exact style that we want. And then go back to the hover state here and then make paste, hit the paste style button. And that's it. I have the hover states that I want. And now that I have done that, I'm going to simply convert all the elements of this dropdown into a component with the corresponding amount, so that each item of this dropdown are actually components with that behavior with the hover state. So that's what I'm going to do here. So here, what I'm going to do actually is okay, and so now that I have the hover state, what I'm also going to do is that I'm going to add a variant of this component, which is which will describe the selected state of that drop-down item. So here's how to do that. So what I see is that the hover state is actually the same style as the selected state here. So it's going to be pretty easy, because what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to copy the style again and paste it on this variant, and I'm going to rename the variant. So here actually I have the drop-down item. Here that's the drop-down item on hover, and here that's going to be the drop-down item in the selected state. Okay. So now that I have done that, the interesting thing is that I can now replace the elements of the dropdown with all those components. So what I'm going to do here is, so this first element, 2,010 credits and $43 per month, I'm going to actually put it in the selected state here and put it at the top of the dropdown. Okay. And then this one, I'm actually going to delete it. And now I'm going to copy paste the initial components and add the other credit elements. So here, for instance, I think the next, the next one is, so 5,000 credits. So 5,000 credits is $73. And I'm actually going to do that for each item. So it's going to go pretty quickly based on the fact that I have those, you know, variables for the copy of the number of credit and the corresponding amount. So here it is for 20,000 credits. Then for 50,000, I have to add this one, so it's going to be 44.9 here. I have 100,000. For 100,000, I'm going to add 819, and I do that again and again. 200,000 for this one is 1,019. Up for this one, it's 500,000 credits with 25.49. Okay, and last one is 1 million credit, and so the 1 million credit corresponds to 4,040 $40.99 per month. Okay. And that's it. I now have my drop down with all the drop down item being components with a hover state and a clickable state. So I can actually verify that it's working as expected by checking the behavior. So here it works. We have the hover state that we want, and when we click on and so we have the what we want basically. So that's the first step. The first step, and now let's dive into the second. Okay, so now let's dive into the second step. The hover state on this select button. So it's actually pretty easy. First thing is that this plan item, I'm going to convert it as a component. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to call it plan. It will be simpler. And I'm going to have to create a variant of this plan with the drop down with the list of drop down items collapsed. There's also one difference. It's this chevron icon, which is reversed in the other direction. So that's actually what I'm going to start with first. So here I'm going to actually double click on this and revert the and change the rotation of this chevron item. So that's done, and then I need to actually import the list of component item. So I'm actually going to take this here, and now getting back to the variant of the plan, I'm going to copy paste it here. So it's at the bottom of the plan, because since it's a stack, it's stacking down the stack basically. So what I need to do here is actually put it as an absolute position, so that I can very easily change manually the position. As you can see here, the width of the drop down is not exactly the one as the select button here. It's not going to be a responsive behavior, but what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to cheat a bit and actually adapt the width manually. That would not be the best way to do if you want to make it responsive, but for the sake of this video, let's keep it that way. Let's do it roughly. Okay, and here it seems to be all right. I think we can lower it a little bit to put a bit more space. And so that's it. We have the second variance, and now we need to add the interaction. So here the idea is that whenever you hover on these components, then you switch to that variant. So I'm going to add this interaction, and it is a hover state. So that's when the mouse enter these elements. I'm going to put a delay of 0.2 of a second. And what I need to add also is the behavior when the mouse leaves the component. So it's a bit more complex to do, because I need to actually make sure that it's when the mouse leaves both the select button and the list of create items. So here, to do so, I'm actually going to put the drop down inside this credit selection component. So that's not what I did. That's what I'm going to do this way. And in that sense, it's going to be way easier. I'm just going to have to click on this interaction button here, and I'm going to say that when the mouse leaves these components with the same delay, I'm going to get back to the former state. So that's about it. Let's check that it's the behavior that we want. So okay, so let's select first this one. So here we go. When we hover, the drop-down is selected. When we leave the component, it gets back to the initial state. So that's it for the second step. So now let's dive into the third step. So making sure that when we click on a specific credit item, the corresponding amounts and limits are displayed. So what I'm going to have to do is that for each credit item here, I'm going to have to create two variants, one with the drop-down collapsed and the corresponding number of credits selected, and one with the drop-down uncollapsed, basically. So here's how it's going to look. So I'm going to create a variant here. And this variant is the one when I have clicked on 5,000 credits. So here, what happens when I click on 5,000 credits? So I can show you again here. When I click on 5,000 credits, it changes the amounts. It obviously selects the credit items here. And that's basically it. So here's how to do that. So here, my target is that I'm going to have $73 here, 5,000 credits selected now. And here, this 2,000 credit is in the default state, while the 5,000 credit is in the selected state. And now I need to show Framer how to switch from variant 2 to variant 3, and it's pretty easy to do. You just need to select the 5,000 credit item and then create this interaction that should occur on click. And I'm going to actually set a delay of 0.2 of a second. And also I shouldn't forget that when I click again on 2,000 credits, I get back to the former state. So that's about it. I told you that there was another variant to add for the 5,000 credits. And the other variant to add is actually the state when the mouse leaves the dropdown. So here how it's going to work. So this state is the following. So there's actually no dropdown. So I'm going to delete the dropdown, and since the limits are displayed here, I'm going to have to change the corresponding limit. So the limits here will be actually 5,000 emails and 0.146, okay, and 20,000 verification, and last but not least 0.003, okay. And oops, and when I get back to the components, I need to explain how I can switch from one to another. And again here, the idea is to use the mouse leaves interaction. So I leave the component, and when I leave the component, I get back to this one. And let's not forget that we need to make sure that when we hover on the selected button, we get back to variant 3. So that's what I'm going to do here by creating this interaction on mouse enter 0.2 seconds. So that's about it. Yeah, oh yeah, maybe one other thing I forgot here is that I need to make sure that this chevron is correctly has the right direction. We should actually have created a variable for this one, but that's okay. Okay, and now we're going to be able to now test if we have the behavior that we expect. So let's test it out. So here's the default state, so 2,000 credits. When I hover on the selected button, I have the drop down with the list of credit items. And now when I click on the 5,000 credits, I have the correct amount being displayed, that is $73. And if my mouse leaves the drop down, I should see the correct limits for this specific plan. And when I hover again on the drop down, I can access again the list of credit items and click again on 2000 credits. So here's how it works. Obviously, there's still some more to do to replicate this behavior for the other elements of the dropdown, but it's exactly the same thing. And once you have done that, then I mean you're ready to implement that on your on your pricing page. And then for the other plans for which they're the same type of behavior, actually only for the subscription plan, then you can use the same components, the same plan component, and change a bit the design, but you know, it's exactly the same behavior. So that's how it works. Hope this video helped, and yeah, see you soon.